By the way, is there anyone amongst you who haven't submitted their activities or projects yet? Please submit it soon because I'll be closing all of the Google Forms and you will no longer be able to submit it. Also, I am also doing my best to check everything as much as I can because I've been handling 5 sections. So it's taking me a lot of time and I am religiously checking your essays. That's why, yeah, probably you haven't received your scores yet. So let's proceed with this one. I do believe you're seeing something on your screen right now. It's the corporate culture and professional communication. Now, academic style of writing is different from the corporate style writing or the professional writing. Because in the professional style writing, it's more conversational, unlike academic. Because in conversational, you can use the pronoun I, we, us, our, while in academic writing, you can never use those, especially in research. Next is you have to use short and simple words, but you have to make sure that you use the standard edited English. I don't know if you can hear the dogs barking, and it's kind of distracting to me, so please bear with me, okay? And then use occasional contractions. You can use contractions like for you are, you can use your. For they are, you can use their. What else? What are the other contractions that you know about? So can you give me an example of contractions? Yun yung merong mga apostrophe. They are for their, and then we're for we are. So those are examples of contractions. Next, whereas in academic writing, you are not allowed to use those contractions, especially for research. Avoid using local expressions or slangs like was lenient. It's much easier to write professionally instead of academically. Now there is an attempt to sound friendly. This is far from the academic writing wherein you have to sound formal all the time because you're writing academically, but for this one there must be an attempt to sound friendly because you are doing business and you are not like robots or you are not like scholars there. So we have to emphasize here the you attitude when writing a letter. I mean, um, for adopting a professional style, you have to adopt a reader perspective in writing. So you give importance to your readers. Now, what do you need to adopt here? Is it the I attitude or the you attitude? Now, this you attitude looks at things from reader's point of view. We have examples here. And why do we need to use the reader's point of view or the you attitude? Because you want to respect the reader's intelligence and you want to protect the reader's ego. Now, how can you protect the reader's ego and how can you respect the reader's intelligence? Of course, by using the you attitude, you are showing them that you are providing what they wanted. For example, you ordered something from Shopee or Lazada. Instead of them saying, if I can answer any of your queries, I'm perfectly willing to do so. The limelight, or I mean, the spotlight is not with you. It should be on your customer. So, like just like this one, how are you going to turn it to you attitude? You can say, if you have any questions, please ask. So you are now turning the table and focusing more on your client or your customer, and you are focusing more on what they really want. Next is, we deliver the order to the provided address this morning. So, ang focus, ikaw na naman, we delivered the order. Parang ikaw na naman yung bida. So, it should be, your order was shipped to your address this morning. Next, I'm happy to tell you that, now you can replace this one with the you attitude of, you'll be happy to hear that. Next, another thing that you need to avoid when writing professionally is to avoid the negative wording. You have to turn it into positive wording. You have to emphasize what you can do for the customer instead of what you cannot do. Ngayon, here's an example. We cannot process your reimbursement request because your documents are not complete. Now, what are the negative words that you can see here? Oh, just take a look at this one, the one that I highlighted, and let me know what are the negative words that you see. Any negative words that you see? Wala. Mhm. Here it is. What are the negative words that you see? Any negative words?
Cannot po.
Cannot. Okay, so Jericho, you're correct. What else?
Yung not po.
Not. Okay, so those are the negative words. Now, how are we going to change it to positive wording? You just have to remove those negative words like the cannot and not. So here's how it goes. Your reimbursement request will be processed as soon as you submit all the required documents. Did you see any negative words here? Everything is positive. Now let's proceed with the next example. We do not reply to emails on weekends. So this one emphasizes something that the person cannot do. We do not reply to emails on weekends. Now, what negative word do you see here?
Not.
Not, right? So we do not. Now, how are we going to replace it? Or how are we going to change this one to positive wording? Diba? If the customers cannot contact you on weekends, when can they contact you? Kung weekends, di ka pwede. Most probably, you're good to be contacted during weekdays. Okay, so you may contact us via email at any time from Monday to Friday. Next, we can't give you the list of books because we have not yet finished taking inventory. So what is the negative word that you see here? What are or is the negative words that you see here?
Have not. Have.
Yeah, have not. What else? Have not, and what else?
Can give.
Can.
Can't. Yeah. So you have to say it like you mean it. If you know the correct answer, be confident and say can't. Okay, so we can't give you the list of books because we have not yet finished. Now, you are most probably emphasizing the things that you cannot do. Why not emphasize the things that you can do? So, if you cannot give the list of books because you have not finished taking inventory, when can you give the list of books then? Okay, so you will receive the completed book inventory by tomorrow morning. So that's how you're going to do it. Now let's practice. So for this one, let me just open my Word so that we can practice. So take a look at the first example. Try to look for the negative words. So can you Can you please tell me what are the negative words that you see? Stop presenting and then I'll let you see my entire screen so that you can see the word. So you are not qualified to join the university cooperative because you haven't fulfilled the tenure requirements. Let's remove the negative words. So how many negative words do you see? And please tell me what those are.
Not.
Not. Okay, so this one, we'll remove the not. What
Haven't.
else?
Haven't. Have.
Haven't.
Yeah.
So probably the have is a helping verb or a linking verb. So we'll let the have stay and we'll remove the not. So you're qualified to join the university cooperative because you have fulfilled the tenure requirements. But since the student hasn't fulfilled yet the tenure requirements, then it must be conditional. The qualification to join the university will be conditional. Hindi pa siya talagang fulfilled for the tenure requirements eh. So what are we supposed to write here? You're qualified to join the university cooperative. So ano dito? Are we supposed to give a reason but siya naging qualified? Hindi pa siya qualified. It should be conditional. So we will replace this one with what?
You've.
You is already here.
Once.
Until.
Say that again, please.
Once.
Until.
Until? So you're qualified to join the university cooperative until you have fulfilled the tenure. Until. Can be. What about another word that we can use?
Once.
Like.
Anong likes?
Once.
Once. Okay, so you're qualified to join the university cooperative once you have fulfilled the tenure requirements. So yun ha. That's how you remove it. And you emphasize on the things on how they can make it reality. So you will be qualified to join the university cooperative once. So once is the conditional word there. Once you have fulfilled the tenure requirements. Next example is this one. So we put your case on hold because you've never sent us the information we requested on our email sent on June 24. What are the negative words?
Never.
So never. What else? Ano pa yung, it doesn't necessarily mean that you see not, never. Excuse me. What
You,
else?
your
Case.
mom.
Case?
Mom, your.
Hold.
Hold. There. When you say hold kasi, it's on a pending status. And you never want your case on a pending status. You always want it active and being processed. So we remove on hold. Ngayon, that's conditional. We write here, we will. We will. So we're not going to put the case on process. Or instead, we replace it with a shorter word. We will process your case. Not because we're not yet giving her a reason. She's not yet sending the information. Okay, so what are we going to do next? We will process your case. Ano English ng kapag naipasa mo na yung information? Sa lalo't madaling panahon. Parang ganon. As, we will process your case as, lalong madaling panahon. Ano English
As soon
nun?
as possible.
Yan. So we will process your case as soon as you send us the information we requested on our email sent on June 24. Ganun siya. And then, the third example, because I always remember anything that sounds negative to you, remove it. Try to make it positive as much as possible. Okay, until your library and miscellaneous fees are paid, we will consider you ineligible for enrollment. What are the negative words?
Fees.
Fees? That sounds neutral to me.
We will.
Sorry?
Ineligible.
Ineligible. The word in itself is neutral, but there is this one prefix that makes it negative. So ano yun? Yung prefix ng eligible. We remove the in. Kasi yun lang naman yung nagpapanegative sa kanya, right? Next, what else? When can we consider the person eligible for enrollment? Kapag ka? Kailan siya po pwedeng mag-enroll? Kapag
Nabayaran.
pagbayad na siya, di ba? So we'll replace until. Kasi parang ano siya eh. Hanggat hindi ka parang ganon. Hanggat hindi ka nagbabayad ng tuition fee mo, hindi ka po pwede mag-enroll. So we replace this one. As soon as your library and miscellaneous fees are paid, we will consider you eligible for enrollment. Or if you want it another way, you can do it this way. We will consider you eligible for enrollment as soon as your library and miscellaneous fees are paid. Pinagbaliktad ko lang. Pero it's the same thought. I prefer it this way. So we will consider you eligible for enrollment as soon as your library and miscellaneous fees are paid. Mas maganda siyang pakinggan kaysa until hanggat hindi ka nagbabayad, di ka pwede mag-enroll. Parang ganun. Okay, so let's move ahead. By the way, do you have questions for the negative, positive wording, the I and the you attitude? By the way, i-add ko lang dito sa you attitude. When will you not use the you attitude? Kasi like the internet, it's a double-edged sword. Now, when can you not use the you attitude? When can you not use the you attitude? Just take a guess. When you are, starts with letter B and it's a verb. When you are, type ko lang dito. When you are, B ends with letter G, it's an action word. When you are, guess the word. Followed with letter L. B-L. Wala pa.
Blaming.
Yon. You got the correct answer, Jonathan. Thanks for responding. So when you are blaming someone, you did not send us the report that we requested. That's why we didn't process it. So it should be always, if you're just going to blame someone, do not use the you attitude. discuss, that is rudeness, okay? And that will fall against you. Do you want to be blamed for something, even if let's say you're the customer and it's your fault? Do you want to be blamed for something that you really did, but they're gonna rub it in your face? Okay, no one wants that. So you still have to maintain professionalism. So we're done with that. We will now go over personal and professional style of writing. So just like this one. Hey, I'm not sure if you've heard, but I've been having a bunch of family problems lately. So you are already airing your dirty laundry. My son was recently expelled. So probably in the at the back of the mind of your boss, your son is a brat. Now my daughter is in rehab, another brat that you have there. And to top it off, my wife hasn't spoken to me in days. Now it falls back on you. Why hasn't she talked to you in days? Probably you did something wrong. So I really need a few days off to try to get my home situation straightened out. Please help me out by approving this request. That's TMI or too much information. You don't have to mention all those things anymore to your boss or to anyone that you are asking permission with. Rather, you maintain professionalism, just like this one. Oh. I am writing to request. State your reason immediately. And what is your reason? You are writing because you want to request for a 3-day leave. And why? You state why you want to have a 3-day leave. I have some urgent personal business to attend to. When you say urgent, it means it's kind of important that you really need to attend to right away. It's like an emergency. Okay? So you mentioned there that you have an emergency. You have something urgent, personal business to attend to. Now, you try to mention there at the latter part that you would appreciate you approving the boss approving the request, and you thank him for doing so. So that's how you write professionally. Do not write too much information there to the point that you are already airing your dirty laundry. It's like Facebook that you don't air your dirty laundry. Alam mo yun, even if, I know, kasi there are moments wherein wala kang kausap or gusto mong i-shout out to the world that how angry you are. I've been there. I've done that. Pero, as I age, nakakahiya ng, alam mo yun, yung mapag-usapan ng mga people. So, I I I never did. Hindi ko na I don't wanna do that. Ganon. Kasi magpepiesta lang yung mga tao. Ganon. So probably if you want to have some privacy or if you want to release, you have an outlet, you write it down on a diary or on a paper and then burn it later. Because I know someone, sige, nag-segue lang ako ha. Kasi nadaanan ko lang. I know someone who terribly regretted what he did. It was like he aired the dirty laundry of his parents, of his relatives, of his wife. And at the latter part of it, kasi people are telling him, you take it down. Take your post down. Because the people are feasting. Nagpipiesta yung mga tao. Iba naman ang gustong-gusto ng mga tao. And then, once you have calmed down, nahimasmasan ka na, and then tsaka ka magsisisi, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have posted that. Kasi you can no longer take it back. Kung ano yung sinulat mo doon, matatanda ng tao yun forevermore. So, it's like that. Write professionally. And you don't use your social media accounts for your rants. Ako, kahit gusto kong mag-rant, gusto kong, alam mo yun, maglabas ng hinanakit ko. Talaga, sa social media, sa Facebook. But hindi ko ginagawa kasi people are opinionated and they will just argue with you or they will just oppose you. Better mag-ano ka na lang. Not sarilinin, but you have your outlet, you have your friends, trusted friends whom you can talk to. Meron, tama ba yung sinasabi ko? Do you get my point? So, kung ano man yun, just go to someone whom you trust, not to social media. So, yun. Kung meron mang gumagawa dito nun, I understand you. Siguro, part of being young, di nyo pa masyadong naiintindihan yon. Pero, as soon as you age, as soon as you get older, hindi nyo na gagawin yun. Kasi, dadating sa point na pagsisisihan mo yung mga ginawa mo, na pinost mo. Tapos magki-cringe ka na lang after a year or so, like, after 5 years, binasa mo ulit yung binalikan mo. Nisulat ko pala to. Ako pa, ginawa ko to. So, yun. Next. We'll now proceed with business letters. So, I hope you prepared your bond paper. Now, let me just introduce to you the ingredients or the parts of a formal letter. So, we have here the heading. This is the heading. This is where your own address, your telephone is written. That's the heading. Ngayon, there are moments wherein you are in a company and there is a logo. Let me just show it to you, ha? So that kakaintindihan tayo. If your company has a logo, then that is considered the heading. By the way, can you still hear me clearly? I'm not sure if my internet connection is swift.
Yes po.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, especially at night. I was teaching someone kasi he's my voice coach. He's going to apply for a cruise ship position and he wants me to teach him how to answer interview questions, and we could hardly understand one another because so spotty. Okay, this is what I'm going to share with you. This is the logo, Baliwag Polytechnic College, Institute of Arts and Sciences, Office of the Dean. This is considered the heading. If you have this logo, no need for the heading anymore. Just like this one, no? Because it's already understood that it came from Baliwag Polytechnic College, Institute of Arts and Sciences. And by the way, it's pronounced as science, not science. It's sciences. Pero ang dami pa rin naririnig na science. Basta yun na. Alright. So let me share this again with you. This is the heading. Then next is the date. This is the date and how you should write the date. Month first, followed by the date, comma, and then the year. You should not write it in all numeral form because that can cause confusion. Now, the next one is the inside address. Inside address is the recipient's name, title, company, and address. That is the inside address. Okay, and then next is the salutation. I want you to everybody to listen. Listen here. Kasi in my entire years of teaching this formal letter, this is always where my students would do it incorrectly. So dear, do not veer away from using the word dear. Colon. Do not ever use semicolon. Do not ever use comma. What do you need to use again? Ano gagamitin for salutation? Is it comma, colon, or semicolon?
Colon.
Colon. Yan. Tandaan nyo mabuti. Colon. Colon. Isaksak nyo yung mabuti sa isip ninyo. Colon. That's what you're going to use. Not comma, not semicolon, but colon for business letters or for formal letters. And then you have to, alam mo yun, sanay mo na yung sarili mo into using or into writing formal letters. Just like this one, you'll never go wrong. Even if you think that it's just for a semi-formal type of letter, might as well write formally para you are used to it. Okay? And it's never wrong to be over formal or over prepared for the letter. Just like in an interview, even if you're overdressed, you're wearing suit or coat and tie, it's never you'll never go wrong with being over prepared. Now, let's continue. We have here the opening paragraph. This is where, by the way, going back to the salutation, if you don't know the name of the person whom you're writing to, you can write sir or madam. But as much as possible, you have to make an effort to at least find the name of the person whom you're writing to. If you have the whole name, you can write the entire name with the succeeding titles like the LPT, MAED, PhD, EDD. So, yun. And then, kasi if they have those titles, attorney, mga ganon, it's a hard-earned title and you need to address them as such of the honor. So those are the honorifics like the attorney, a Mr., Miss. Now, for the opening paragraph, this is where you state the reason why you're writing. I am writing because I would like to inform you. I am writing a letter to you because I would like to request. I would like to suggest. Wag ka nang, do not go around or do not beat around the bush. Go straight to the point. I am writing to you because I would like to request. Ganon. Wag nang mabulaklak pa. Pero okay lang naman. Okay lang naman bulaklakan mo. Pero at the first paragraph, go straight to the point. So, because your reader doesn't have the luxury of time to, alam mo yun, to beat around the bush. Ano bang tinutumbok na to? Bakit ka nagsusulat sa akin? Excited siyang malaman. Why you're writing a letter to him or her? Diba? When someone writes you a letter, your boyfriend or your girlfriend, you're excited to know why he or she is writing to you. So, papa-excite pa to. Paikot-ikot pa. So, there. And then, for the middle paragraph, this is where you state or the details. They should be where the details are, like the dates, the month, or if you are inviting the guests, or I mean, the person for an event. You indicate there the date, the time, the reason for the event. Okay, and then the closing paragraph is it's either you appreciate the person for planning to attend or you give your contact details. And then we have here the complimentary close. Sincerely, yours, Vendetta. Have you heard that song? Just kidding. Corny ko, no? So, yun. Chris Anderson, and if you have an enclosure, let's say you have an attached file there, you mentioned here at the latter part, enclosure, colon, and then 2. If there are 2 attached files. Now, bring out your pen and paper. Turn on your cameras, and I want to see your pen and paper. Turn on your cameras. I want to see your pen and paper. Kahit wag na yung mukha ninyo, kahit yung mga pen and paper na lang. Just kidding. So, yan. So, you have your pen and paper. Si Ryan, mukhang si Bangot. Parang ayaw niya yata magsulat. Just kidding. Okay, so let's wait for the others. Maybe they're just gonna get it from the stash. So we're gonna write a formal letter, and it will be better if we're gonna do it all together. Sabay-sabay tayong magsusulat. And you have to make your writing smaller if you have a big handwriting. So while waiting, let me just share with you a document here. So let me know when you're ready. Give me a raise of hand when you're ready. Who else is ready? Give me a raise of hand. How about Patrick, Jason, Glory, Maria, Jason Perdigon? All right, so let's start. Now, our topic when writing this business letter is, let's say, in your barangay or in your community, you see that the garbage collection is not that efficient. So you're having problems with garbage collection in your community or in your barangay, or if you are inside the village, that the rats are feasting, the dogs and the cats are trying to scavenge it, and then there are flies, it stinks. So yon. And worse, what is the worst effect of all to people? What can you think of? What can be the worst effect of the garbage to people? So let's begin. Let me just enlarge this one so everybody can see it clearly. So what's the first one, di ba? The heading. What's the heading? So let's say your address. Start with your address. Let's say 124 or 125 Gil Carlos Street. And then San Jose. I'm not giving away my address. So this is not my address. 125 Hill Carlos Street, San Jose, Baliwag, 3008. Say, and your telephone number is 0923-537. You divide it into 4, so that there is beauty. 537-7468. So that is your heading. You already have a heading. By the way, make sure that you maintain 1-inch margins on all sides. Maintain 1-inch margin on all sides. The top, the left, right, bottom margins. 1 inch. Clear tayo dyan, ha? Now, what's next? The date. So, di ba, andito ka. Nasa 8 ka. Press enter twice. 1, 2. And then, what's the date today? November 17. Type it, November 17. And you know what font I'm using? Not Nov, okay? Kasi nag-auto, siya. November 17, 2021. Right. And then, let's see. I'm using Arial. You can also use Times New Roman. It doesn't matter. But for Arial, you can use 11 as a font size. Ayan. What's next? Next is your inside address. Let's say you are writing to the barangay captain. BRGY captain. Pero I'm not really sure if it's the barangay captain who's in charge of the basura or the garbage, or is it the mayor? Let's write here. Let's write to the mayor. Mayor's office. Or you can write there mayor. And then the address. Ano bang address sa municipality of Baliwag. 1, 2, 3. Ano bang address doon? Kunyari, ano ba? Hirap mag-isip ng pseudo address. It's not in Makinabang though. So I write here Bagong Nayon. Bagong Nayon, Baliwag, Bulacan. So you already have your heading, date, and then the inside address. So press enter twice lang ha. Do not allot big space here. Dapat it's just enough for one cursor. Ayan, no, you can see one cursor is enough. If you entered it thrice, it's too large already. It's already a huge gap. So try to just maintain it into two spaces. Hit enter twice. Now hit enter twice again. Dear Mayor, always remember na wag maging bastos. Parang pag sinabi mo lang, Dear Ferdy Estrella, that's a no-no. Include the title of the person, Dear Mayor Ferdy Estrella. Meron ako isang student. Hindi ko alam kung hindi niya lang sinadya, pero ano siya, yung Dear Estrella or Dear Ferdy Estrella. Nashock ako. Okay, so what are we going to write here? Is it a colon, semicolon, or comma?
Comma.
Colon. Right. Colon. Hit enter twice again. We are now going to start with your introduction. I am writing. Why? Why are you writing? I am writing to express. I am writing kasi you want him to know, to express a grave situation that the community situation that Barangay San Jose is facing due to faulty garbage management system collection. Due to faulty garbage collection, or if you want to write there, due to faulty garbage management system. So yeah, you were already able to state your reason why you're writing. And then especially for the last, let's say, how long has it been going on? Especially for the last 3 to 4 weeks. So you might want to give the mayor a short background or a brief background of what's happening and how long has it been happening. So this is the introductory paragraph. Now, what about the body? With relation to the problems, short. With relation So you can write your own letter, with relation. But for now, what I want you to learn is just the format. So that when you write your own, you already know how. With relation to the problems, the number of garbage bins installed in the barangay is insufficient. Kulang yung mga garbage cans. Considering the total population. Moreover, for the last couple of weeks, garbage trucks have not been picking up the trash in time and deposit of all waste as it started to scatter around the bins on the streets. So this is where you're gonna let him know in the next paragraph. You're gonna let him know what's happening. So if there was an overflow, of garbage, what's happening? Ano nangyayari? Kapag di ba, when in the streets, people are just putting their garbage along the sidewalk. What happens if it's not collected? Putol pala tong ginagawa ko. Why didn't you say so? So anyone can give me an idea? Can anyone give me an idea what happens when there is an overflow of garbage at the sidewalk?
Nangangamoy.
So number one, it stinks. Yeah. It smells funky. What else? It what? Aside from nangangamoy.
Kakalat po ulit.
So how will it kakalat ulit? How will it be messed up again?
Sa mga stray dogs po.
Or how will it be scattered? So it attracts some cats or dogs. Stray. Minsan nga kahit hindi stray no? Some stray cats or dogs who rampage the garbage every night. What else? What else? Meron pa. There are still a lot more. If the imagine that the garbage is just right in front of your house.
Ang pangit pong tinitignan.
Yeah, right. It makes the neighborhood look bad. Alam mo yun, not just the garbage in our apartment there in Baliwag, because I'm not there. There are these people who treats the pathway like an extension of their living room. Alam mo yun, yung Di ba apartments are adjoined together. Apartment 1 or Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3. They're all adjoined, and the people in Unit 1, they treat alam mo yun, yung labas ng apartment nila as an extension of their living room. They bring out all their laundry, alam mo yun, yung mga underwear nila, nakasampay doon. Tapos yung mga damit nila, although they're trying to dry the clothes outside, pero they're making the neighborhood look bad. Kasi mga underwear mo nakasampay doon, yung mga short mo, mga t-shirt mo. I'm not saying na that's in a way, kung maselan kang tao, you won't put your clothes outside. Tapos yung mga crayons, may table na nga, nagtayo na nga ng table dun sa labas. Tapos meron pang naglagay na rin ng electric fan doon at doon na rin namamalansya sa may daanan. Siguro init na init siya, ganun. Ay, kwento ko lang. So it makes the neighborhood look bad. So aside from that one, what else can be the effect of garbage? If it's right in front of your house.
Pwedeng magbarado sa sa mga kanal po.
Mhm. It can clog the drains, or you can clog the drainage. What else? Madami pa. Let's all lay it
Makakuha
down
ng
to the
sakit.
mayor.
Makakuha po ng sakit.
We can get sick. How can we get sick? Paano nga ba tayo magkakaroon ng sakit doon?
Infection.
How?
Infection po.
Friction. Did you say friction?
Infection.
Infection. Okay. Yeah. It can clog the drainage. People can get sick. Pero before we can get sick, explain muna natin kung paano tayo dadapuan ng infection. Now, di ba meron tayong, if may basura dyan, ano yung mga naninirahan doon?
Lamok po.
So yon, it has become a breeding ground for mosquitoes. What else? Aside from mosquitoes?
Daga.
Rats. What else? Meron pa.
Apis po.
Roaches. What else?
Frogs.
Frogs. Sige, add natin yan. Sabi mo eh. What else? Meron pa.
Worm? I don't know.
Maggots. Especially if it's summer. Talagang the maggots. And who produces the maggots? Not technically worms, but more on maggots. Alam niyo ba yung maggots?
Yes po, uod.
Ayan. So, sino naglalagay ng maggots doon?
Langaw po.
Langaw. Okay. So, it has become a breeding ground for different kinds of insects like mosquitoes, flies. Ihuli natin tong rats because rats is not an insect. So mosquitoes, roaches, and flies that produces maggots. Frogs and rats infest it too. And because of that, people can get sick. Ayun. And it can lead to, and because of that, it can lead to the spread of infectious, that's what you mentioned earlier, infectious disease. And people can get sick. Ano pa? Okay. So may bad odor na, andyan na lahat. If you think that you've already exhausted everything in your middle paragraph, you can proceed with, maybe we can add some more. But this is just a draft anyway, so we can always follow it up later. We'll now proceed with the third paragraph. Actually, this is the fourth but long paragraph. Now, this is where you would suggest, I would like to suggest that ano ba? I would like to suggest that the garbage management service, kung sino mang namamahala doon, to look into the matter
As soon as possible.
urgently. Urgently or as soon as possible? Sige, since you mentioned as soon as possible, we're cool with that. As soon as possible. And make sure the garbage trucks, ano, come to our barangay every day ba? When does the garbage truck pass by to collect garbage?
Weekly po.
Weekly. Hindi ba masyadong matagal yun?
Dito po sa amin, ma'am, weekly.
Pero how's the garbage there? How is it overflowing ba if it's weekly or not so much?
May time po na dumadami po talaga.
So, pero do you think that's acceptable?
Hindi po.
So we need it like twice a week. Trucks come to our barangay twice a week. Better? Let's say thrice a week if it's not too much. Malay mo pumayag si Mayor. All right? Barangay thrice a week. Okay, to collect the rubbish. But rubbish is more of a British word, pero it's still acceptable. Aside from that, ano pa? Diba, we mentioned that kulang yung basurahan. For a long-term solution, additional garbage bins should be provided.
Or, pwede po, ma'am, or one isolated place for garbage.
Okay. Additional garbage bin should be provided at a specific isolated area in the barangay. Pero, ayun. Hindi. At specific or provided at isolated areas. Dapat areas. Kasi, baka lalayo pa sila para lang magtapon in the barangay. Ayun. And not in front of the houses. Kasi usually, di ba, gawain ng mga tao, if if there is a space in front of their neighbor, doon nila tinatapon yung basura nila. Alam mo yun, yung tipong dapat basura mo lang yan eh. Dapat basura mo nasa pader mo or nasa harapan mo. Ganun dapat yun, di ba? Pero ang nangyayari kasi, basura mo, nililipat mo dun sa kanto, dun mo tinatambak malapit dun sa may kapitbahay, which is not supposed to be. As educated people. We shouldn't be doing that. Kasi imagine if other people are doing that to you, how does it feel? Ako nga, inis na inis ako sa aming neighbor. Kasi nga, ganun yung gawain nila sa harap ng may harap nilalagay. And it really stinks, especially if the garbage truck hasn't collected the rubbish yet. And then, pag sinabihan mo naman, i-deny lang. At minsan naman, makikipag-away pa yan. Hindi naman amin yan, ganyan. That doesn't belong to us. And, yeah. So, ganun pa. Sila pa yung galit. So, as early as you are, it would be better if you would train yourselves. Teach my students not to do the same. Kasi, huwag kayong maging salot sa lipunan. Ganon. Alright, so I hope, meron pa ba tayo i-add? I hope. This is a novel already, but you can make it as short as you want. I hope you will take it. You'll take immediate action or measures. Pero don't sound too demanding to the mayor kasi baka magalit siya. So you have to maintain respect to solve the problems and consider my suggestions. All right. So we're done. Hit enter twice. 1, 2. Ano masyado malapit? Thrice. Make it thrice. The only time that you would hit enter thrice is when you're writing your complimentary close. Sincerely yours, Vendetta. Kanta yun eh. Sincerely. Sino gusto niyo ilagay natin dito? Ruleta ng kapalaran. Okay, una kong nakita ng mata ko, si Jonathan. Jonathan Dayaw. Jonathan Dayaw. And then you can underline it. And then under that, San Jose resident. Barangay. Ayun, if you're gonna make this sincerely yours, always remember that the second word, everybody listen. This one should not be capitalized. The yours, the letter Y in the yours should not be capitalized. The only thing that you need to capitalize there is the letter S in the word sincerely. Do not capitalize this one. But for, let's say, for this one, for the salutation, to whom it may concern, you may capitalize the first letter of each word. To whom it may concern. Capitalize each letter of each word. I mean, the first letter of each word. But for the complimentary close, you may only capitalize the first letter of the first word. Sincerely yours, Jonathan Dayaw, Barangay San Jose, resident. Now, you already have a formal letter. Now, you don't have to make your formal letter as complicated as this one. Okay? The only reason why I did it this way, kasi the harder at first, the easier it will be for you when you make it on your own. You can write a 3-paragraph letter. Ganun lang, ha? So, questions. Questions. And then you sign here. Don't forget to sign here, ha? Here, at this part here. Questions? So if you don't have questions, I have a question for you. Is it easy or difficult? How do you find writing a business letter easy or difficult? So if it's difficult, which part? Do you have problems with the format? Do you already know how to do the format? How many margins should we have or should we put on all
One.
sides?
1 inch.
Okay, Glory May, 1-inch margin on all sides. How many times will you hit enter after the heading?
What?
You hit enter
2.
twice. Okay? And then from this one, from the date, ayan na, date yan. How many times would you hit enter again?
Twice.
Twice. So, gawin natin na, ayan na, 1, 2. Ganon. So, kung nandito ka, 1, 2. So, that should be the space. And then here as well, ayan, 1, 2 din to. 1, 2. And then from Mayor Estrella, 1, 2. Alright. And then, dito lang, tayo sa Sincerely Yours, you make it 3. From suggestions, from the last paragraph, make it 3. 1, 2, 3. And then from Sincerely Yours, 2. 1, 2. Ayan. There's no hard or fast rules with the number of enter, but it would be nice to look at if everything is uniform. Yun. Questions? Wala na. Wala na. Let's move ahead. So 8. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes.
can you give us the name of the part of the letter?
Parts of the letter. I do believe it's in the module. Let me share it with you. Share this tab instead. So it's here. Ayan ha. Heading, date. This one kasi hindi ko na i-include inside address tawag dito. This is where the person whom you're writing to is indicated. The address, the number, the name. Pero kahit di nyo na ilagay yung John Miller kasi andito naman siya sa Dear. So just write the position and the address. So ito, salutation, opening, middle, closing paragraph, complimentary close, and the enclosure. So this is an example of a full block format. Full block format. Now let me send this letter. Garbage collection letter. And letter to the mayor. Let me send this one to our group chat. Okay. Send ko na sa group chat natin. Yan. So we're done with that. Now let's continue. Marami pa tayong tatapusin. Now for sabi nga dito, opening should be clear, direct, and it should immediately tell the reader the purpose of the letter, and we're able to do that. Okay, so example, here's an indirect. Thank you for your email of May 11 in which you inquired about the availability of sprinklers. Now for the direct one, you will be glad to know that we have an ample supply of H640V parts. You still maintain the U attitude and it's still direct. Okay, so for the body, it contains a brief introductory paragraph and the closing are this is where you can say, I'm glad to have been of help. Feel free to call me again or look forward to receiving your application. But I would suggest kasi your contact details are already written above which is in the heading, there's no need for you to write it, but you can just say, if you have questions, feel free to contact me at my email address or at my telephone number. I appreciate you taking time to read my message. Ganun lang. No, now let's try to identify here. Encircle the letter of the statement which is direct and appropriate in writing a letter. So we have here two choices. Oh, mamili kayo. Which one is direct? A or B? Dito lang kayo. Just look at this one. The one I highlighted. Is it A or B? Which one is more direct?
B po.
Are you sure? So, basahin natin letter A. Yes, the Enterprise Cruise Club is planning a 15-day Caribbean cruise beginning September 20. Letter B, this will acknowledge receipt of your letter of December 2 in which we ask about your Caribbean cruise schedule. Medyo mabulaklak yung letter B. Why? This will acknowledge receipt of your letter. Understood naman na na meron ka ng. Pero mas direct ito. Yes, the Enterprise Cruise Club is planning a 15-day Caribbean cruise beginning September 20. Andun na kaagad yung thought. So it should be letter A. Although medyo sounding letterish ito. Letterish. This will acknowledge receipt of your letter, but parang more of a correspondence to na like may reply ka agad, ganun. But this one is more direct. The shorter, the better. Pero if it's short, it doesn't mean that it's complete with details. There can be short openings that are complete with details. Now, let's try to practice with number 2. Take a look at the highlighted sentences. Is it A or B?
A po.
B as in boy? Okay. So, we sincerely appreciate your recent order for plywood wallboard panels. The plywood wallboard panels that you requested were shipped today by Jollibee Cargo Express and should reach you by November 8th. So, this one is more direct, letter A, pero mas detailed naman itong letter B. So, ano ang mas appropriate dito? So, I think it should be letter B. Direct na siya. Okay, letter B. Actually, pwede naman parehas yan eh. Depending on the context. Now, pursuant to your letter of February 10, I'm writing in regard to your inquiry about whether we offer a Star Wars umbrella in other colors besides green and blue. This unique umbrella is very popular, blah, blah, blah. Letter B, at this time, the Star Wars umbrella we are offering is available in the whole are the colors green and blue. Gusto mo lang naman sabihin na available pa yung Star Wars umbrella, right? So, letter B is much better. So, write a formal letter. On a recent holiday trip, we lost a valuable item. Fortunately, you have travel insurance to cover the cost of anything lost. So, di ba, we've already practiced writing a formal letter. Now, this time, you're gonna write your own letter, and it's about our recent holiday trip where you lost your laptop or any valuable item for you. Okay. Describe how you lost the item. Describe the item lost and how you lost it, and then tell the insurance company that what you would like them to do. You are going to write the insurance company. Kung anong gusto mong mangyari? Papalitan ba nila yung item na nawala or what? Okay. So, let's go to the memo. Para matapos na tayo. A memo is a short form memorandum. Now, what's the purpose of a memo? It is used for internal communication in business. Ang memo within the premises of the company lang yan. And it's intended for its employees. Now, it immediately gives the date, the addressee, and the sender, and the subject of the memo. There's no need for a salutation. No need for a complimentary close and signature block. That's what makes a memo different from a letter. So yun ha, yung naka-underline. No need for salutation, complimentary close, and signature block. Now, there are 5 types of memo. Number 1, the instruction memo. Of course, from the word itself, it gives instructions to the employees. Number 2, request memo. If the management is requesting the employees to do something. Next, number 3 is announcement memo, which is to give announcements. Number 4, transmittal memo is a cover note for a formal and lengthy document. So yan, parang yung mga lengthy documents coming from CHED. We have that kind of memo. And then number 5, authorization memo, which authorizes this department to collect the garbage like this, like that. So yun. Now, what does a memo look like? So a memo contains subject line, which is of prime importance. Bakit importante ang subject line? Because it aids in filing and retrieving the document. Let's say you want to remember, you want to retrieve that memo. So paano mo siya ma-retrieve? You're going to use keywords from the subject line. Para siyang hashtag. Diba? You know the purpose of hashtag? Para when you type the word, it will immediately appear kung ano yung trending, and then lalabas siya kaagad. Basta pag tinype mo lang doon, anything related to that will appear. It's like using keywords for subject line. Now, subject line should be short as well, but detailed. Now, here's how a memo looks like. We have here the letterhead. We have here the to line. Para kanino? To line is for whom? From line is galing kanino. And then we have here the date. We have the subject line. Tungkol saan? Subject line is tungkol saan. Okay, so don't get yourselves bored yet. I know this is a boring topic for everyone. The memo. Because you would rarely see a memo kahit nagwo-work pa kayo. But usually it's sent through email. Yung mga announcements. A memo, those are the things that were being posted on the cork board. So, don't get yourselves bored. Hindi naman ako gagamit ng memo. Minsan lang naman yan. Babasahin ko lang naman yan. Why do I need to know the parts of a memo? You need to know the parts of a memo just in case that you will diverge from your course, or you're going to read a memo. At least you're aware that there are parts of a memo. Now, here, let's try to look at an example of a subject line. It should not be too general. It should be specific. So, if the memo is about a training seminar, masyadong generic yon, or it means too general. Because there are a lot of training seminars. So you have to narrow it down much better if you're going to say dates for 2018 training seminar. So, pag tinype mo dyan training seminar, lalabas doon 2019, 20, 21, 22. But if you type there dates for 2018 training seminar, it's very easy for you to look for it. Now, don't be too wordy. Just like this one. Survey of students' preferences regarding course offerings. Much better, students' course offering preferences. Understood naman na you're gonna talk about students' course offering preferences. Kung anong course ang gusto ng mga students. Tapos meron ka pang nilagay dito sa wordy, regarding. Understood na lang. Even if you remove the word regarding, it's still understood. Or, survey of students' course preferences. Try to make it short. Now let's evaluate the subject lines here and encircle the letter of the best subject line. We have here A, B, C. Which do you think among the three choices is the best option or the best answer? Should be short but detailed.
Letter B.
Letter B po.
Okay. Who has a different answer? Who has a different answer? Sa susunod, bibili na talaga ako ng mic kasi ayoko na mag-headset. Ano ko na lang siya. Wala na? No different answer? So, why not letter A? So, let's talk about it. So, for letter A, we will have an important meeting about the proposed GE reform on Monday at 10 a.m. It's like you are already reading the body. It's not the subject anymore. It's already the main content. Whereas letter B, proposed GE reform meeting on Monday at 10 a.m. It's short but detailed. And then letter C, subject meeting. There are a lot of meetings. So letter B is the best choice. Now let's go to the next example. A, B, or C?
C po.
A.
Oh, sige. Some say some say A, some say B, some say C. Let's try to discuss this letter A. How to enter bibliographic information on Zotero. How to enter, it's like a question. Are you asking us a question? No, you're not supposed to ask a question in the subject line. So this one is not a choice for us. Letter B, bibliographic entry, instructions for Zotero. Zotero or Zotero? Pala na kayo. Ayan. So ngayon, you already know that it's talking about bibliographic entry and it's talking about instructions for Zotero. Letter C, entering bibliographic information. About what? Hindi mo sinama yung word na Zotero. So the best choice for this one is letter B. Still short. I mean, still short but detailed. When you type the word Zotero, lalabas na yon. Unlike this one, entering bibliographic information. Although lalabas din naman ang bibliographic information, but what if there are different kinds of bibliographic information there? It's not just Zotero. So letter B is the correct answer. Now let's go to number 3. A, B, or C? Kita ba? A, B, or C?
C po.
C. Right. So why not letter A, new employee benefit? There are a lot of employee benefits. So this is too generic. Letter B, tuition reimbursement will now be offered to employees who take work-related classes and earn at least 3.0. It's like you are already in the body and not the subject line. Now, subject line, new tuition reimbursement policy. This is the best answer. Now let's go to number 4. A, B, or C?
Letter C po.
Letter C, let's see. A, when you can deduct the cost of conference meal. It's like you're asking a question. Letter B, attendance at conferences. What conference is that? So it should be reimbursement procedures for conference meals. You're talking about conference meals. And it's about the reimbursement procedures. Kompleto na to. Okay, this one is good. Now let's go to number 5.
B.
I'm sorry, can you please say that again?
That's the letter B.
Letter B?
Yes po.
So let's talk about letter A first. Your report of August 14. What about general report for August 14? Letter B, progress on joint venture projects in Singapore. And letter C, problems with... Why letter B? Kayo naman na mag-explain.
For me, it's positive po.
Yeah, it's detailed and it's positive. So always take note. Remember, use the you attitude and always be on the positive side. Use positive wordings. So the correct answer is letter B. This is so obvious. You try to neutralize problems as much as possible. Now for this one, you're not sabi dito, write a memo, but I'm not gonna ask you to write a memo. Matutunan nyo lang magsulat ng business letter. That would be great because you're going to write a lot of business letters, cover letters when you are going to apply for a job. So yon. Next would be, tingnan natin kung anong email. So we in an email we have here the 2-line and then the subject line. You have here the greeting, opening paragraph, body, and close, and then your complimentary close. Now, a standard signature block should include the following in the order of, let's say, your name, position, company address, telephone number, fax number, website. Ganon. Now, let me just show you my email. And my email is flooded with student activities, student submission. Ayan. So, this is how you compose it. It's loading. It's loading. I have a slow internet connection. Ayaw niya. So, let's forget about it. All right. So this one, what email address do you frequently use? Diba sabi dito, you have to be professional when creating your email address. BTech provided their students with email addresses and it started with their last name. I mean, an initial from their first name ba yun? Tama ba? Tingnan ko nga lang. So yun, ano yung email address na binigay sa inyo, yung containing your first name and your last name. And that should be the professional email address. It's not I'm so sexy at hotmail.com. I feel so good at gmail.com. Like horny bunny, mga ganon. Try to stop using those kinds of email address. As much as possible, you just use your first name and your last name. And then, what else? What is the meaning of CC and BCC? CC means carbon copy and BCC means blind carbon copy. Para saan ba yung CC? Kapag your intention is to send it to your boss, diba? And your boss has a secretary. You have to CC it to your boss. Or if you want to send an email to your client and you want to inform your boss that you've already emailed your client, you carbon copy it or you CC it to your boss. And then blind carbon copy. This is when you carbon copy it. You send another copy to your boss, let's say, but the email address of your boss will not be seen by the other person. Hindi nila makikita na naka-CC yon sa boss mo. That's why it's called blind carbon copy. Okay? Because, it helps you prevent the client from going straight to your boss. Yun lang yun. That's why you want to keep the email of your boss confidential. Yun. IBCC mo siya. Pero if magkakakilala lang naman kayo, CC is fine. Do you get what I mean? Now you have an activity here, true or false. And then let's go to the job interview. Last na to talaga. Last na topic na to. 8:30, 9:30. So we've already spent 1 hour and a half. Ito ha. For the job interview, sino ba dito sa inyo ang nag-a-apply na for a job? Who is already applying for a job? I can teach you on solo. Kasi nag-tutorial ako and it's free for a job interview. Kasi I like helping people na nag-a-apply for a job. Now, if you're applying for a job, please let me know so that I can teach you one-on-one. But then, yung mga interview job questions lang naman yon. But for this one, you start by researching the company and your interviewers. If you're applying for an IT company, you try to, una mong i-research dun sa website nila? Their core values, their vision and mission. What are they looking for in an employee? Now, finding out their core values, their vision and mission, does it match your own vision and mission? Does it match your own core values? And let's say they're looking for an industrious and a skilled worker. Does it match your skills? Kaya it's important you start by researching the company and your interviewer. Para at least you have a background if your interviewer is strict or is it jolly, kung ano yung mga strategy niya. Pero you would rarely find out the strategy of your interviewer. Might as well research on the company, their vision and mission, core values, and what they're looking for in an employee. And try to find out if it matches yours. Yun, inulit ko lang ha. And then number 2, practice your answers to common interview questions. So what are the common interview questions? Tell me something about yourself. So you try to mention the past, present, and the future. You relay not just your job experiences, but you also relay there your character as a person. Parang ipapakita mo doon, mahilig ka bang, what are your hobbies? Do you like fishing, dancing? Do you like charity work? Yung mga ganon. And then, parang it gives a background for the interviewer what kind of a person you are. So aside from your skills, they're also looking for the character of a person. Sometimes kasi it's not about the skills, but your attitude. It's easy to train people, but it's difficult to change people's attitude. So you have to show them that you have a good, you have a pleasing personality. Next is you reread the job description. So print it out, or kasi why is it important for you to do that? Mamaya, the job description that you are applying is including mopping the floor, ganyan, tapos ayaw mo pala nun, then it will just be a waste of your time and the interviewer's time as well. So yon. Next would be use the STAR method. What is the STAR method? STAR stands for, open ko lang yung PowerPoint ha. Star stands for situation. So while I'm opening it, please bear with me. It is here in my Google Slides. Para kita ninyo. It's loading. Oh, here's the STAR method. The situation. Ano ba yung sa situation? You use when, where, what. It really takes a while. Who. So that's for the situation. Let's say there is a difficult situation, a stressful situation. So who are the people involved? Where did it happen? And what happened? Now, your task. T stands for task. What are your expectations and what you should do? How are you supposed to address the problem? Next is the A for action. Wala pa. A is for action. What did you do? Did you do it? Did you do what's expected for you to do or to be done? Next is results. Effects or what happened. Were you able to successfully overcome the challenge? So that's how you're going to do it. And then let's go back to this one. Recruit a friend to practice answering questions. If you need someone, if you're going to apply for a job, just let me know and we will schedule it so that we can practice you. Next is prepare a list of references. Much better if you're going to include someone with authority like your bosses or a friend who can give you good feedback or good commentaries about how they dealt with you, how they worked with you, how you worked with them. And then be prepared with examples of your work. If you have like your portfolio, much better. If you have an online portfolio, include that to your resume. But if you have the feasible for portfolio, might as well show it to or bring it on your interview. Now, here are some things that I want you to learn so far before going for an interview. Since last meeting, by the way, is there anyone amongst you who haven't